Michigan could have the greatest quarterback. They could have the best wide receivers of all time. But Jim Harbaugh wants to play how Jimmy wants to play. And that's great in the trenches and running the damn ball. If you are new to the channel, Big Ten videos every single day. Subscribe now. Also, crush that like button. Penn State's red zone defense was probably the MVP for the Nittany Lions today because they kept them in that game early. If it weren't for that red zone defense making plays, you could have saw 14-0, 21-0 early in the game. But this game was a game in the first half because of what the Nittany Lions were doing inside the 20, inside the 10, when Michigan got inside those Penn State yard lines early in this game, and they kept them in the game. But if you're a Nittany Lion fan, you got to be frustrated because your pass coverage was good, okay? You defended these good Michigan wide receivers, your secondary with Brown and Porter and King. They defended those wide receivers well. And Michigan went to the running game, and Michigan did what they did in the running game. Look, I get it. That was probably going to happen no matter what. But it's like we were playing Penn State from a Penn State perspective. We were playing a good game. What happened? Well, what happened is that your offense became one-dimensional yet again, like they were a year ago. This, besides that big Sean Clifford zone read run, which faked everybody out, this was an offense that couldn't run the ball. Why? Everybody wants to know why. What's the deal? Okay, you go back to last year, there were a lot of questions with Penn State. Why can't we run it? Is it our talent in the backfield? Is it the offensive line? This year they've got good talent in the backfield. Katron Allen, Nick Singleton are good backs, can be explosive backs. I think the problem is the offensive line right now. You saw that Michigan front manhandle Penn State, right? Pass rush was good today, and obviously what they were able to do in terms of run defense, playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage and maybe pushing Penn State back just a little bit. I think you saw the difference, and that's what's the biggest difference to me. I think Penn State's got good talent. They got good receivers, they got backs. I think this is a good team, but I think you saw the difference between a good Penn State team and a great Michigan team, and the difference is the offensive and defensive line, right? You look at what Michigan has on their offensive line and how they are able to push and create holes for guys like Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. And then you look at the Michigan defensive line with Morris and Harrell and all those other guys up front that were able to push back on what Penn State wanted to do. That was the big difference in the game, and that's the big difference between a good team in Penn State and a great team in the University of Michigan. Look, early in this game, Michigan moved the ball really well between the 20s. They just couldn't score. It took them a little bit of time, and sometimes that's what you get when you play Michigan. Maybe Michigan won't hit a ton of big plays right away, but Michigan plays like a complete four-quarter game, and you've got to be with them for 4 complete quarters. Maryland found that out. Indiana found that out. Look, this is a team that is built really well from top to bottom, and you've got to play them that way. Look, Michigan's an awesome team. I really believe that, and they're really getting better each and every single week. I look at last year, a lot of questions. How are you going to replace Aiden? How are you going to replace Ojabo? They're doing it as a collective. There's so many good players on this team, and the secondary is really good. I love the story of Mike Sandstrom back there and how he's converted to defense and how he has done a really good job in the secondary. I think Joel Klatt mentioned him by name as one of the best kind of nickel backs, one of those best kind of plus guys in the defensive secondary that can come up and make plays and do really good in coverage. Look, this is a really good Michigan team right now. Blake Corum, early in the season, I talked about Mohamed Ibrahim and Chase Brown, best running backs. Now you got to talk Blake Corum. Blake Corum is explosive. He's explosive as maybe any other back in the Big Ten. I look at Mo and Chase, they're methodical, but when you talk about a guy that can go out there and hit a 60 to 70 yard home run, I don't think there's as bigger threat, maybe outside of Ohio State, in the Big Ten than the University of Michigan. Certainly at the running back position, there's no bigger home run threat than Blake Corum right now. It's crazy to me when you got a guy like JJ back there and you got these receivers, yet they want to run the ball, and that's what makes this team so dangerous. Because eventually there might be a defense that might contain them in the running game, and they're going to have to throw it over the top, and they can do that. I want to hear your reaction on this game. What do you think? Do you think Michigan, look, they've solidified themselves right as probably the true number 2 now with this win, this convincing win over Penn State in the Big Ten East. Can they go head-to-head with the Buckeyes? I know it's a long ways away, but let's start thinking about it. That's how good I think Michigan is right now. What about Penn State? They've got some pretty, some more difficult games on their schedule coming up. We'll see what happens with the Nittany Lions. Where do you think they go from here? Leave your thoughts, comments below. Make sure you subscribe to Big Ten Ted. I'm Big Ten Ted, and we will see you in the next one.